On my 30th birthday, I had just been told by a doctor that I might never be able to get pregnant again. That same day, I walked into my own home and found my husband holding his assistant, forcing me to sign a stock transfer agreement, using 7 years of my hard work as a bargaining chip for his future. He cheated on me. He seized power. He froze my bank accounts. He teamed up with the media to paint me as a mentally unstable madwoman, and wouldn't even pay for my surgery. They thought I would break, that I would accept my fate, that I would be drained dry and discarded. What they forgot was this: the company's earliest patents were written in my name, and the moment I personally pressed the button to freeze the patent, file an infringement lawsuit, and drag him into court, he panicked. Today is my 30th birthday. I'm sitting on an ice-cold chair in the hospital, clutching a piece of paper in my hand. On it are 3 words: uterine fibroids. But the doctor said it might be something worse. You need surgery as soon as possible, the female doctor said, pushing her glasses up her nose. After the operation, you may not be able to have children. I stared at the words 80% probability on the report, my fingers crumpling the edge of the paper. Ethan had always wanted kids. For 7 years. He'd said we'd try once the company stabilized. Now the company was stable, but my body wasn't. On the way home, I bought a small cake. Strawberries and cream, Ethan's favorite. I thought maybe tonight I could tell him. Maybe he'd hold me and say, "It's okay, as long as we have each other." I was such an idiot. The door to the study was slightly open. I heard Ethan laughing, and a woman's voice. Charlotte, his assistant, 25 years old, long hair, long legs. I was about to knock when I heard her say, "We need to move faster. Once she signs the stock transfer, whether you divorce her or not doesn't really matter." My feet felt nailed to the floor. Through the crack in the door, I saw Ethan with his arm around her shoulders. Documents were spread across the desk. The top one read, Marriage Risk Isolation Agreement. My name was listed as Party B. One clause stated that Party B voluntarily transfers all personal shares into marital joint property and waives independent disposal rights. Below it was the signature line, empty. What if she refuses to sign? Charlotte asked. Ethan laughed. I have my ways. She listens to me. The cake slipped from my hands. Cream splattered across the floor. Ethan turned around and saw me. His first reaction wasn't to let go of Charlotte. It was to rush over, snap the folder shut, and lock it into the drawer. Lily, why are you back so early? He frowned. Didn't I tell you to go straight to the restaurant after work? I stared at him, then at Charlotte. She didn't even stand up, just brushed her hair aside and smiled at me. The kind of smile you give when you're looking at a cleaning lady who walked into the wrong room. Get out, I said to her. Charlotte raised an eyebrow and looked at Ethan. Ethan sighed. Lily, don't do this. I said get out. My voice trembled. Charlotte finally stood up, picked up her designer bag, and as she passed me, whispered, calm down, sis. Being emotional won't solve anything. The door closed. Ethan rubbed his temples. Fine. What do you want? What do I want? I almost laughed. I was in the hospital waiting to die, and you're here planning how to divide my shares? That's for the company structure. Then why did she call herself your fiancé? Ethan fell silent. The TV suddenly turned on by itself. Our smart home system played financial news at this hour every day. The anchor's voice was bright and clear. Tonight at the Capitol Gala, young entrepreneur Ethan Cole appeared with his fiancée, Charlotte Reed, on the screen. Ethan looked sharp in his suit. Charlotte wore a silver gown. Her arm linked through his. I turned off the TV. My hands shook so badly I missed the button 3 times. Explain, I said. Ethan lit a cigarette. He'd quit smoking 3 years ago, for me. We need funding, he said, exhaling smoke. Charlotte's family can help, but the investors want a stable marital image. It's just an act. Lily, so I'm the backup outside the script? Don't put it that way. He reached out to hug me. I stepped back. His hand froze midair. I'm not signing that agreement, I said. Ethan's eyes turned cold. Lily, don't force me. Force you to do what? Do you know how dangerous the company is right now? One piece of bad news could destroy everything. He grabbed my shoulders. Sign it, and we can go back to how things were. I'll even buy you that beach house you've always wanted, with my money? I asked. He let go. That night, I slept in the guest room. At midnight, I heard him leave. Through the window, I saw Charlotte's car waiting downstairs. At 3 a.m., I opened the drawer in the study. The password was my birthday. He couldn't even be bothered to change it. The documents were still there, but there were extra pages. One was a medical report. Name, Charlotte Reed. Pregnancy status, positive. The date was 2 weeks ago. I sat in the darkness until morning. 7 years ago. When Ethan proposed, he said, "Lily, I'll make you the happiest woman in the world." Now, he had made me the stupidest. I wasn't cheated on. I was priced. My shares, my marriage, my entire existence, all given a clear price tag, ready to be packaged and sold. And the price was Ethan's future. 3 days later, the lawyer came. Ethan sat across from me, wearing the custom suit I'd bought him. "Sign it, Lily. For us." The document was titled, Marital Asset Restructuring Agreement. The content was simple. All assets under my name would become marital property, managed entirely by Ethan. "Why?" I asked. "We're preparing for an IPO," the lawyer said mechanically. "Our asset structure needs to be clean. This is standard procedure." "Standard procedure requires me to give up everything?" Ethan sighed. "It's not giving up. It's integration. We'll open a joint account. We'll still use the money together." The doorbell rang again. Charlotte let herself in, with a key. I didn't even know when she'd gotten one. "Still not done?" She glanced at the papers, then leaned against Ethan. "We're going to be late for the gala." Then she turned to me. "Lily, just sign it. Dragging this out only makes things ugly." I stared at her. "This is my home. Please leave." "Ethan, look at her." Charlotte clung to his arm. Ethan patted her hand, then said to me, "Lily, don't make a scene." Something inside me died completely at that moment. I didn't sign. I tore the document apart and threw the pieces in Ethan's face. "Get out." They really left. Together. That night, I tried to call my mother. My phone said, insufficient balance. Strange. I'd topped it up with $500 just yesterday. I logged into my online banking. All accounts frozen. Notice, account abnormal. Please contact the account holder. I was the account holder. I called the lawyer. No answer. I emailed him. Auto reply, "This email address has been deactivated." Finally, I called the law firm's front desk. When I gave my name, there was a pause. Attorney Wang said. The receptionist hesitated. "He will no longer represent your case." "Why?" "Your husband, Mr. Cole, is our firm's largest client." At 2 a.m., Ethan came back with a new offer. "The house is yours. I'll give you $20,000 a month for living expenses. All you have to do is sign a non-disclosure agreement and never speak publicly about us." He handed me a check. $300,000 up front. "Sign it, and it's yours," he said. "Lily, this is my last mercy." I looked at him. The face I had loved for 7 years now looked like a monster from a horror film. "What if I don't sign?" He smiled. "Then you'll truly have nothing." I didn't sign. He tore up the check and threw the pieces in my face. "Then starve." After he left, I crouched down and picked up the scraps. Not because I wanted the money, but because I needed evidence. Underneath the torn pieces, I found a crumpled sheet of paper, an ultrasound photo, a tiny embryo, shaped like a bean. Below it read, Charlotte Reed, 8 weeks pregnant, father, Ethan Cole. On the back, handwritten, "Son, hurry up and come. Daddy's waiting." I sat on the cold floor all night. At dawn, I stared at the ultrasound photo for a long time. Then I told myself, "Lily, you're allowed to cry, but after you cry, you must stand up, because no one else will carry you anymore." I didn't cry. Tears are a luxury, and I couldn't afford them. I turned on my old laptop and logged into an email account I hadn't used in 7 years. The password was the day Ethan and I met. He'd definitely forgotten. The inbox was flooded with unread emails, mostly spam, but as I scrolled down, I found treasure. Emails from 7 years ago. One I had sent to investor Charles Chen, attached as my project proposal and patent certificates. "If you're interested, we can meet." Charles replied, "You're the patent holder?" I replied, "Yes. I independently developed this algorithm during college." Back then, Ethan was just my boyfriend. He said, "Lily, you're amazing, but I'm afraid those investors will take advantage of you. Why don't we use my name to negotiate? I'll protect you." I was stupid. Truly stupid. I kept digging. I found scanned copies of the company's original registration documents. Legal representative, Lily ownership, Lily 60%. Ethan 40%, but 3 months later, the documents changed. The legal representative became Ethan. The ownership structure changed too. In an email, Ethan wrote, "Baby, this change will make fundraising easier. Sign it for now. Once the company grows, we'll change it back." I signed. I found Tom's email. Ethan's earliest partner, the one who'd been forced out 3 years ago. I wrote, "Tom, this is Lily. I want to talk about what happened back then." 5 minutes later, he replied, "Oh my God, Lily. Ethan told everyone you were mentally ill and hospitalized. We talked on the phone. 2 full hours. When we hung up, Tom said, 'Lily, whatever you need, I'll help you.'" The next day, I did 3 things. First, I submitted documents to the patent office proving that the original holder of the company's core technology patent was me. I applied for an emergency freeze on all commercial use of the patent. Second, I contacted every investor and attached scanned legal documents, informing them that the company faced serious ownership and intellectual property risks. Third, I submitted evidence to the bank and applied to have my frozen accounts unlocked. The results were immediate. At 3 p.m., Ethan burst into the apartment, his eyes bloodshot. "What did you do?" He grabbed my arm so hard it felt like my bones would crack. "All the investors have suspended funding. The bank is auditing everything. Have you lost your mind?" I calmly pried his fingers off me. "I'm not crazy," I said. "I'm just taking back what's mine." He stared at me like he was seeing me for the first time. "What exactly do you want?" "I want a divorce," I said. "But I don't want your charity. I want what I'm entitled to." "What you're entitled to?" he sneered. "I built this company with my own hands. You were just a wife cooking at home." I opened my laptop and pulled up the earliest patent certificate. "Without this," I said slowly, "your company wouldn't even exist." "Ethan, you forgot something. Everything you have was given to you by me." His face turned deathly pale. His phone rang. He answered, listened for a few seconds, and the phone slipped from his hand. "The patent office rejected our usage license," he muttered. "The stock will crash tomorrow." He suddenly looked up at me. "Lily, withdraw the application. I'll agree to anything." "It's too late," I said. The doorbell rang. A delivery. I signed for it and opened the envelope. A court summons. I was suing Ethan for illegal appropriation of intellectual property, seeking $70 million in damages. Ethan stared at the summons like it was a death notice. Then he left. He slammed the door so hard the whole building shook. I sat in the living room, looking around the house. Every piece of furniture had been chosen by me. The paintings on the walls, I painted them. The flowers on the balcony, I planted them. But none of it mattered anymore, because what I wanted was not this cage. I wanted the sky. The next day, the headlines changed. Elite family feud escalates. Ethan Cole's wife suspected of mental instability. Attempts to control company. The accompanying photo showed me grocery shopping. No makeup. Messy hair. The angle was perfect. I looked like a lunatic. The article claimed, according to insiders, Lily Cole has long suffered from depression and repeatedly attempted to interfere with corporate decisions. Insiders. I laughed. Charlotte gave an exclusive interview. On camera, she wore an elegant suit and a wedding ring, not mine. A new one. Bigger. Brighter. "I really sympathize with Lily," she said, eyes reddening. She struggled to accept the fact that she can't have children, but taking out her anger on the company and hurting so many employees, that's really not right. The host asked, "What is your relationship now?" Charlotte smiled shyly. "Ethan is in the process of getting divorced. He said once everything is over, he'll give me a grand wedding." Ethan filed a new motion with the court, requesting the marriage be declared invalid due to my unstable mental condition, and asking for all my legal actions to be frozen. An emergency hearing was scheduled. My lawyer, recommended by Tom, was a veteran IP attorney. But 30 minutes before court, he called me. "Lily, I'm sorry, my firm just received notice. If we continue representing you, we'll lose all corporate clients." Ethan did this? Silence. I went to court alone. They had 3 lawyers. Ethan sat in the gallery, staring at me coldly. After reviewing the materials, the judge ruled, during the validity dispute of the marriage, I would temporarily be prohibited from exercising shareholder rights. The patent lawsuit would be suspended. This is a temporary measure, the judge said, pending the evaluation of your mental health. My mental health is fine. I stood up. The bailiff restrained me. Ethan's lawyer immediately said, Your Honor, this emotional outburst further proves her instability outside the courthouse. Reporters swarmed me. Ms. Cole, do you really have a mental illness? Will you drop the lawsuit against your husband? Is this revenge because you can't have children? Flashes blinded me. Suddenly, a coat was thrown over my head. It was Tom. Move! He shoved reporters aside and escorted me into the car. Only after we drove off did he speak. Ethan bought the media. The entire internet is smearing you. I know, I said, looking out the window. There's worse. Tom hesitated. The bank just notified me. Your accounts are frozen again. Reason, suspected transfer of marital assets. I laughed. A bitter laugh. I can't even afford rent. And they think I'm moving assets? That night, I stayed in a temporary apartment Tom arranged. Small, clean. At midnight, my abdomen erupted in pain, like knives twisting inside me. I crawled toward my phone. Then everything went black. I woke up in the hospital. The smell of disinfectant was familiar. The doctor was the same woman I'd seen before. Her expression was grave. The fibroids have worsened, she said. You need surgery immediately. Otherwise, it's not just about fertility anymore. Your life could be at risk. I stared at the ceiling. How much will the surgery cost? Insurance will cover most of it, she said. But the out-of-pocket portion is about $50,000. $50,000. I didn't even have $500. A nurse came in, holding my phone. And Ethan Cole called the hospital asking about your condition. She said, Should we return the call? No. But the nurse turned on the TV. The ward television was centrally controlled. Entertainment news was live. Ethan and Charlotte were hosting a gender reveal party. Blue balloons exploded. It was a boy. Charlotte cradled her belly, smiling blissfully. A reporter asked, Mr. Cole, how is the divorce with your ex-wife progressing? Ethan wrapped an arm around Charlotte. It'll be completely over soon, he said. I want to give my son a complete family. The nurse hurriedly turned off the TV. I'm so sorry, it's fine, I said. It really was fine. When your heart dies completely, pain can't reach it anymore. The doctor brought in the consent forms. A family member needs to sign, she said. I don't have one. Then, an emergency contact? I thought for a moment and wrote down Tom's name and number. Then I signed the surgical consent. One clause read, permanent loss of reproductive ability after surgery. My signature was steady. That dream had died long ago. The surgery was scheduled for 6 a.m. When the nurse wheeled me toward the operating room, the hallway was empty. No one came to see me off. The anesthesiologist asked, Are you nervous? No. And I meant it. Because the worst possible outcome, I'd already lived through it. As the anesthesia entered my veins, I remembered another operating room 7 years ago. I'd held Ethan's hand while he had his appendix removed. Lily, he'd said, when I come out, let's get married. He came out. We got married. Now, I went in. When I came out, the marriage would be completely dead. I woke up feeling empty. My stomach empty. My heart empty. The doctor stood by my bed. The surgery was successful. The tumor was completely removed. But, I asked, but you'll never be able to get pregnant, she said gently. We preserved the uterus, but its function is gone. I nodded. I'd known. The door opened. I thought it was a nurse. It wasn't. It was Charlotte. She carried a bouquet, not for me. She casually placed it on the empty bed next to mine. I heard your surgery went well. She smiled. I thought I'd come by. After all, we're practically family now. I said nothing. She stepped closer and leaned down, whispering in my ear, the doctor says it's a healthy baby boy. Ethan is thrilled. She paused. As for you, you have no value left. A woman who can't give birth, has no money, and is buried in lawsuits. Who would want you? She left. The scent of lilies lingered in the air. Ethan knew I hated lilies. They made me sneeze. He did it on purpose. That afternoon, a courier delivered new documents. The final divorce agreement. The terms were concise. I would give up all claims to property. including patent rights. In exchange, Ethan would generously give me the house and pay a one-time $1 million compensation. On the last page, handwritten in pen, sign it. Lily, this is your last chance. I picked up the pen and signed, but not the way he expected. Before the surgery, I had already contacted a real ace attorney, Laura Lynn, a lawyer who specialized in representing women. Her win rate, 98%. We prepared 2 agreements. The surface one looked exactly like Ethan's. The real one was hidden in between. What I signed was the real one. Its terms were simple. I agreed to the divorce, on the condition that company shares be redistributed to their original ratio, all patent rights be returned, and all patent usage fees from the past 7 years be repaid. Plus one clause, if Ethan concealed any assets, once discovered, they would automatically belong to me. After signing, I asked the caregiver to mail it. Express delivery. Sent today. Arrives tomorrow. I watched the sunset outside the window. For the first time, it felt like the sky might finally be brightening. 24 hours after Ethan received the agreement, the counterstrike began. First blow, the patent office officially revoked Ethan's company's usage license. All products based on that patent were ordered to be pulled from the market immediately. Second blow, investor Charleston publicly spoke out. I always believed the patent belonged to Ethan. If it actually belongs to Lily, then our original investment agreement must be re-examined. Third blow, Tom joined forces with 3 other former partners to sue Ethan for illegal share dilution, demanding compensation. Fourth blow, the company's largest investment firm announced its withdrawal, citing serious integrity issues involving the founder. Ethan's company's stock plunged 45% within the first hour of trading. The exchange triggered an emergency trading halt. The narrative flipped overnight. Who is the real inventor? Exposing the woman behind the tech star's 7 years of marriage, a carefully orchestrated plunder. Some outlets even uncovered tax issues within Charlotte's family business. Her father's company was formally placed under investigation. Ethan finally called me. I declined. He texted, "Let's meet. Name your conditions." I replied, "Talk to my lawyer." An hour later, he appeared downstairs at the hospital, surrounded by reporters. "Mr. Cole, did you deceive your wife? Did you steal the patent? Was Charlotte Reed the third party?" He kept his head down and rushed inside. When the door to my hospital room opened, I was eating an apple. Ethan stood there. His shirt was wrinkled. His eyes were sunken. He looked 10 years older. "Lily," his voice was hoarse. "What do you want? I'll give you anything. The company, the money. I can even leave Charlotte." I slowly finished chewing. "What I want, you can't give." "What do you want?" He snapped. "I want my 7 years back." I said, "I want the woman who believed in love, who gave everything without hesitation. Can you give me that?" He froze. "I'll return the patents. The shares," he said desperately. He dropped to his knees, actually knelt. "Just withdraw the lawsuit. The company is collapsing." "Lily, that's my life's work. It was my life's work too." I said, "You just claimed it as your own." He cried. It was the first time I'd ever seen him cry. "I know I was wrong. I really know. Please give me one more chance." "A chance?" I laughed softly. "I gave you countless chances. Every time you came home late, I chose to trust you. Every time you said you were working overtime, I reheated dinner and waited. And what did I get?" I picked up the remote and turned on the TV. Breaking news: Charlotte Reed's family company under investigation for tax evasion. Executives detained. "Looks like your fiancé's family is in trouble too," I said. Ethan's face drained of color. He laughed. His back was hunched, like an old man. A nurse came in to change my dressing. "That was your husband?" she asked carefully. "Ex-husband," I replied. He looked so pitiful. Crocodile tears. I said, "If I hadn't fought back, I'd be the pitiful one." The nurse nodded. "True. Women have to be ruthless, to themselves first." 3 days later, I was discharged. Attorney Laura Lynn came to pick me up. He signed the agreement. She said, "All of it?" "All of it." She smiled. He also agreed to pay an additional $5 million in emotional damages. "He's afraid we'll release those recordings." "What recordings?" "You forgot? During your early startup celebration 7 years ago, he got drunk and said, 'Without Lily, I'm nothing.' We found the video." I burst out laughing. So hard tears came out. Laughing. then crying, for real this time. Asset division took 2 months. Ethan's company lost 80% of its market value. Investors filed class action lawsuits. Employees resigned en masse. Charlotte miscarried. The news blamed stress. But rumors said she chose not to keep the baby because Ethan was broke. Ethan moved out of the mansion, into a small apartment, not even a nice one, and I reclaimed full ownership of the patent 60% of company shares, $70 million in cash compensation on the day the final agreement was signed. At the law firm, Ethan stared at me. "Are you satisfied now?" "Very," I said. "You destroyed everything I had. You destroyed it yourself," I replied. "I just took back what was mine." He stood up, eyes bloodshot. "You think you won? Lily, I'll rise again. And when I do, when you do, you still won't come back." Laura Lynn cut in coldly. "Because you face criminal liability." Ethan froze. "What?" "Illegal transfer of marital assets. Forged documents. Fraud," Laura said, sliding a file across the table. "The police have opened a case. This is the notice." Ethan completely lost control. That night, he called me nonstop. I blocked his number. He used unknown numbers. I answered one. "Lily, I'm begging you," his voice cracked. "Withdraw the police report. I'm only 35. I can't go to prison when you plan to sell me." I said calmly. "Did you ever think about today? I'll give you everything I have left. I have a Swiss account, $3 million, tell the police." I said, "Maybe it'll reduce your sentence." I hung up. At 1 a.m., someone banged violently on my door. Through the peephole, I saw Ethan, drunk, holding a bottle. "Open the door! Lily, open it!" I called the police. Before they arrived, he kept shouting, "You bitch! You think you won? I know people. I'll make sure you can't survive in this city." The police came and took him away. Before leaving, he turned and looked at me. That look, I will never forget it. It wasn't hatred. It was despair. The trial came quickly. The evidence was overwhelming. Documents he thought were destroyed, I kept them all. There was even video footage of Charlotte impersonating a secretary to sign documents under his instructions. In court, Ethan kept his head down. The verdict, convicted of fraud, document forgery, and illegal transfer of assets. Sentenced to 3 years in prison. Suspended for 4, with confiscation of all illegal gains. Charlotte's family business was heavily fined and pushed to the brink of bankruptcy. The media headlines were unanimous: Techstar falls, a downfall born of betrayal. The day we finalized the divorce papers, the weather was clear. Ethan looked like a different person, thin, hollow. He handed me an envelope. "The password to the Swiss account," he said softly. "The last bit of money I have. Consider it my apology." I didn't take it. "Keep it," I said. "You'll need it to live." He froze. "I'm not you," I said. "I won't push someone to a dead end." His eyes reddened. This time, it might have been real. Outside the Civil Affairs office, reporters swarmed again. But the questions were different now. "Ms. Cole, you're now the largest shareholder. Will you return to run the company? Will you forgive your ex-husband? Do you have any message for women watching this?" I looked into the cameras and spoke for the first time on my own initiative. "I won't return to the company. I've already sold it. The money will be donated to organizations that protect women's rights." I won't forgive him. Some wounds are unforgivable. And to all women, I want to say this: before you love someone else, love yourself first. Your name should be written in the ownership column, not in a risk isolation agreement. The flashes went wild. I turned and walked away, without looking back. I used the compensation and the proceeds from selling the company to establish the Lily Women's Entrepreneurship Fund. The first rule of the office: no male investors. The second rule: in every project, female founders must hold at least 51% ownership. Tom became the fund's director. He said, "The best decision I ever made was answering your call." I left the city. My new home was by the southern coast. I woke up every morning to the sound of waves. I learned how to surf. At 35, I stood on a surfboard for the first time. I fell hard, bruised and battered, but I stood up again. 3 months later, I could stand on the crest of a wave for 10 seconds. Occasionally, people pursued me. Younger, older, handsome, wealthy. I politely declined them all. A friend asked. You really don't plan to love again? It's not that I won't love, I said. It's that my definition of love has changed. What do you mean? I used to think love meant giving everything to someone else. And now? Now I know love means giving everything to myself first. The foundation's first successful case came soon. A single mother whose ex-husband had taken her food stall. We helped her win it back. She came with her daughter to thank me. The little girl handed me a drawing. A princess holding a sword, standing on a defeated dragon. This is you, she said. I hugged her and cried. On my 31st birthday, I was alone at the beach. My phone buzzed. A news alert: Ethan Cole files for bankruptcy. Exits the tech industry. I didn't open it. In the distance, the sun sank into the sea. The sky shifted from orange to deep purple. I took off my shoes and stepped barefoot into the water. Cool, ticklish. Suddenly, I felt like singing. So I did, off-key. And it didn't matter, because in that moment, no one was judging me. I didn't need to prove to anyone that I was worthy, because I knew I was. The sky turned completely dark. Stars appeared one by one, facing the ocean. I whispered, "Happy birthday, Lily." Then I turned around and walked toward the lights of home, a home that belonged entirely to me.